Hello and welcome to another video. Okay, so I think the last one I did was probably from Vienna, so we've been spending some time in Austria. Little change of pace. We drove all the way to the other side of the country, and here's where we are. Absolutely ridiculous. I was not prepared for how big the Austrian Alps really are. Anyway, so we get here and come to find out the place we're staying in has some really neat history that our host was telling us about. So here, let's start off with the entryway. So they were telling us last night this place was made in 1754. So it's like ridiculously old. And I asked them, they said, yep, it's still original. Now, there's a few things that have been replaced, but I mean, check out that door. I love the doorknob in the middle, by the way. That's just pretty cool. All right, let's go inside and see. I love that latch. It's so satisfying to use. Okay, and here we are inside. Now, again, some of this wood has been replaced, but like the ceiling is still original. Of course, they added electric and plumbing. But here's the latch. Pretty substantial. This is how you lock. Okay, so there it's latched, and then that just locked it. You can see right there, the bolt. That's what they unlock. So cool. This would be like your main living area or living room, I guess you could say. But what really surprised me is how big some of the wood is. Like, I measured some of how large the boards are, and one was like 18 inches wide. It's a pretty large tree. So one thing to note about these houses, the ceilings are really low, or you could hurt yourself on these things. I don't know if people were shorter back then or what, but I mean, check this out. And most of them have like these step ups or step downs. Like this one, there's just a beam right here, so that's gonna hurt your feet if you hit it. And I think the part that's most intriguing to me is, like I said, 1754. So this is a very old house, and people have been living here ever since. The crazy thing is, my country back in America started in 1776, roughly, or it depends on how you count, but that means this place has been here 22 years longer than my country has even existed. Really puts some things into perspective, actually. So myself, as an American, you can have certain ideas or ideals of how the way the world is, the way things function, and then you all of a sudden get a reality check that, whoa, there's some places that have been around a whole lot longer and have different perspectives and different sets of experiences that I can learn from. And that has been incredibly valuable for me on this trip. Back when we were in Vienna, I think it's maybe in another video, but we got some footage at this cafe that was in a building from like 500 years ago. And was sitting down talking to the owner and him sharing some of the ways their culture works and the way Austria is set up as a nation, and so incredibly different than what my country is like. And that is really interesting because then I can learn a new perspective. I can see, here's a place that has been around for a really long time, and they've figured out some certain things and walked a different path and have maybe a different worldview that maybe I can learn from. And that's been really good. And something like a house like this, being built like in the time of George Washington, and here I am sitting in the living room, and it's just here. And it's not, I would say, incredibly unusual in this part of the world to have things this old. It really puts life into perspective and helps you realize, there's some places that have been around for a really long time. And by the way, maybe I should leave a link to it in the description or something, because our host is amazing. Anita, you're amazing. And the price in this place is very reasonable compared to other places, even though it's way bigger than what we need. Gotta watch my head here. Okay, we're gonna go upstairs. I love that door. That was so cool. Okay, so this is the upstairs. Bit of a mess because we're still unpacking and all those things. Whole nother room over here. But the one thing I want you to note is this floor. It's really squeaky. really squeaky. I guess that's what you get when you have a floor that's like almost 300 years old. Anyway, kind of wild. But really nice part. Obviously, the view is incredible. Like, actually kind of ridiculous. Anyway, that's that. That's what we're up to these days. Trish, is there anything else I should add?
The thing I thought was kind of fascinating, I've seen a lot here in Austria, is they have a lot of crucifixes everywhere. And when you drive through the valleys, you see a lot of Catholic churches with their really awesome huge steeples, and they're grand. You can go in and it's really cool. And yeah, it made me think back to all the classes I had at SMDI where it talked about history and all that stuff. And there's a lot of history here, like with the Anabaptists leaving and such. And I really, like, I see so much Catholicism here. I'm like, yeah, I could see how if being an Anabaptist here, and especially if they wanted to kill you, you would want to get out. And I know there are stories about how they used to live in the mountains some, and then eventually they moved to America. And yeah, I can see why. The mountains are big and dark and kind of scary. They're super steep, and it's kind of crazy.
We were just thinking about that last night, because this is a small village. Maybe we should show it on a map. This is a small little village, and there's like every village has these little chapel churches, and there's one right over there that's really nice, and there's another one right over there. They kind of dominate the look of a village, and it would have been so part of the societal structure to be a part of that. And when the Anabaptist movement started, they were a divergent off, and you wouldn't have fit not only in the church, but you wouldn't have fit in mainstream society, because all your neighbors, everybody, that's what you do. You go to this particular kind of church, and the Anabaptists wouldn't have fit with that, and that would have caused a lot of issues. It did, obviously, in history, and that's how our people, because we're Anabaptists, ended up in America. But anyway, funny little piece of history there.
Oh, and check this out here.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I just saw that the other day.
Where?
Right there.
Where?
See it? Right there. Look here. Right here, look. Right there.
Oh, wow.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Right in the gable of that roof over there, there's another crucifix.
Okay. Well, so that's our Airbnb tour situation and a few thoughts from the middle of the Austrian Alps. Actually, just for interest's sake, we're right near the Swiss border, Switzerland. Hopefully we can go see it, but love this place. We're gonna go explore. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.